parts of our story. But look closely, and the sands begin to shift, revealing a new chapter filled with unimaginable treasures. Old stories made new through the lens of the hourglass. The ebb and flow of a great civilization. The continuation of a saga that spans millennia. A saga that has taken us here, to Sohei, to witness the opening of another door to the past. The Sohei National Museum. An undeniable testament that every step we take towards our future brings us face to face with our boundless past. Look closely. Once you see through the door, the weight of history will make certain it stays open.
Без Good afternoon, dear Mr. Ambassador. It is my great pleasure to welcome Your Excellency Ihab Ahmed Talat Nasser. It's been a while, so we were not able to meet each other for almost a year already, but I think that technological process allow us to communicate, and we can still have and enjoy new results and new partnership. So I would like to welcome you on behalf of Tatarstan government and on behalf of our president, Mr. Rustam Minikhanov. He sends you his best regards. And I would like also to thank you for the opportunity to talk to you and to discuss the latest news about Russian and Egyptian relations, about our progress in terms of economic sector development, business development, cultural, educational, tourism, and other aspects. So, Your Excellency, how do you do? Whether the workload increased amid the pandemic, what issues have been solved for now? How would you comment on the situation, please?
Well, thank you so much for hosting me tonight, this afternoon, and it's a great pleasure as always to meet you again. Of course, I'm looking forward to meet physically in Kazan, but due to the coronavirus, that's a good option, and I would like to thank you so much for this for the great effort and the smart initiative to hold this online meeting, and to all your team as well, and who generously helped us in making this event come real. Uh, of course, you know that I'm a frequent visitor to Tatarstan, and I pay very special attention to our relations and cooperation with Tatarstan. And again, this is another opportunity to renew again my deep appreciation to the great role that you have always been playing, and as both professionally and as a friend, of course. And well, during the current challenging circumstances, of course, the workload has been less in sense of quantity, but the burden has been even more in the sense of finding new means and creative ways to keep the files and momentum going of our cooperation. And I'm sure you have the same burden as well, but apparently you managed to find very good and creative and sustainable means.
All right. So, would you please tell us what measures does the Egyptian government have been done so far to control the spread of the COVID 2019?
Well, dear Ms. Minolina, of course, you know that as in other countries, Egypt's economy is being impacted both through virus containment measures as well as through the sudden drop of state revenues. However, the bold economic reform program that Egypt adopted since 2016 greatly enhanced the economy's resilience. Before the pandemic, the growth rate of the Egyptian GDP was above 5%. The international reserves were comfortable, the debt was on the downward trajectory. So we achieved very good positive results before the coronavirus crisis. That helped us actually being able to deal in a better way with the impact. As for the impact of the coronavirus, we and the international financial institutions as well expect Egypt to record a growth rate of 2.8% this year, a plus. which would be one of only 11 economies in the world that would achieve a plus growth rate. Of course, it has not been easy, but a big wide package of measures were adopted. The government goal, the Egyptian government's goal, is to place Egypt on a strong footing for recovery after the crisis. The government has also introduced the measures to partially offset the revenues shortfall. We already allocated a package of 2% of the total GDP to deal with the impact of the coronavirus. That went partially 26% to support the health sector and increase health spendings, 10% for social protection, which is very important. And also another package was taken on the monetary policy. The central bank cut the interest rate to a historic low. The fiscal policy, we allocated the package of 2% of the GDP, to half of which would go to the support the tourism sector, which was the worst hit in the economy. And the rest would support the poor families and stock market as incentive. Tax policy measures were taken as well in various tax fields, covering both people and companies. Stamp duty was cut as well. The tax authority postponed and facilitated the payment of the due taxes. So it was a comprehensive package of measures that we hope would help the economy receive the hit of the coronavirus impact in a more comfortable way, to enable it to go to the upward trajectory again very soon.
Dear Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for this information. Because I represent the economic sphere and economic sector of our government, I'm very much interested in what have been done so far to support businesses itself, because that today we're faced with lots of problems, and it doesn't matter what kind of business is that.
Sorry, I lost the voice. Come to me.
Entrepreneurs, the majority of businesses, they would love.
I'm sorry, the connection is lost.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Well, I lost the connection
now for a second. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear, but,
yeah?
but
okay. So the question is, how about not postponing the tax payments, but cancellation of payments? Because um, the postponing doesn't help so much
Well,
for business
actually,
people.
the measures taken till now was to postpone, to pay only 10% and to postpone the rest. And that till now is the measure taken. Of course, extra measures can be adopted if needed, but till now it's this is of course even more measures were taken on the capital gains, property taxes. These were already some of them were reduced as well.
Well, today economy is facing a very big change, not only technological change, but also with the help of coronavirus, I would say, even thanks to coronavirus, we have a very big technological push, all of us. And because previously we didn't have, so to say, an idea to talk like that together, right? So it's something new. And by the way, the whole economy is changing, the world economy is changing. So my question to you is how the Egypt economy is changing at the moment. Are there any new professions emerging, like coming? What specialists are mostly in demand now in your country?
Well, of course, the new ways of and means of the communication was created a greater demand on internet services, online services, as usual, and I'm sure the same happened in Russia. So it's the delivery services, the latest figures show that the revenues of the communication companies in Egypt already increased 35%. IT experts as well. There is a great demand, even more than before. The e-marketing companies as well managed to achieve a good growth. So these are new forms of businesses that already benefited a lot from the current circumstances, but also the exports witnessed the level of exports already increased significantly, and the which as well benefited from the current circumstances, especially the agricultural exports.
Okay. Well, because I work in investment, so I know the whole world statistics in investment, and the United Nations Committee on Investment and Trading, they say that for the last 5 years, the major part of investment were actually in the sector of informational technology, as you just mentioned, and entertainment as well. And one of the biggest parts of entertainment is tourism. Tourism is suffering a lot at the moment. So talking about the technological development and IT companies, Tatarstan is doing really great job, and I hope that you had a chance to visit our Innopolis city, the only one IT city in Russia, and the new city after the Soviet Union. Actually, yes, was demolished. We created the special new IT city with Innopolis University that today has a huge competition for students, for graduates. Lots of IT companies are coming and working there. So, and going back to entertainment and tourism sector, because of this situation, some Russian people happened to be in Egypt. And how many Russian tourists are still in your country during the closed borders? And do they get any government support, maybe? How would you comment on it, please?
Well, let me comment as well on the entertainment sector. Actually, it was a good opportunity
Yes, please.
for entertainment platforms, electronic platforms, the virtual ones. During the last months, they witnessed a boom in the number of participants. You know that we have traditionally we have huge cultural production, movies, songs, music. Plays and so on. So this was a very good opportunity for them since people have more time to spend at home. So it was the number of subscribers already was booming. So they were among the benefiters as well. And that reflects as well extra benefits on the entertainment industry and movie industry as well. Which makes good revenues, considerable revenues in Egypt as exports. Uh, as for tourism, of course, Egypt is not only receiving Russian tourists, but there is a significant Russian community in Egypt. Only on the Red Sea Governorate, which is only one of 26 governorates, there are between 20 to 30,000 permanent residents, Russian ones. After the closure of air traffic, the several emergency flights to bring back Russian tourists who were stranded in Egypt already was organized. We were actually cooperating very closely, Egypt and Russia, in this regard. So the Russian flights were taking Egyptians, and the Egyptian flights were taking Russians on the other way. So those who, the Russian citizens who are still in Egypt are mostly permanently resident in Egypt. But of course, the flights are not resumed yet between Cairo and Moscow. But there is the tourists are moving through a third capital or third city transit.
I see. All right. So in Tatarstan, we've got lots of international investors from 79 countries, and during pandemic, the situation was not really good for everyone. But they happened to do lots of charity programs, lots of sponsorship programs, and they were trying to be as much useful as they can. And they helped hospitals and within the healthcare sector a lot to prevent the spread of COVID. So our international investors are very socially responsible. How would you comment on Egypt cooperation with different countries all around the world in terms of the preventing of coronavirus spread over?
Well, we have been cooperating closely. Please. We have been cooperating closely with almost all of our partners. Well, actually, I can divide it into parallel tracks. Well, some countries we were in need of support of their healthcare systems and providing tests, equipment, medical care and preventive material. So we immediately gave them the necessary assistance. That was several countries actually. Concerning other on the parallel track, we are cooperating closely. We have a strong pharmaceutical industry. So several companies in Egypt were and still are in close contact with the companies that managed to reach new medicines or even following up the efforts for the vaccines to produce them in Egypt to cover the local needs and needs of other markets as well. So I think 3 of the 4 medicines that were discovered till now are being produced already in Egypt or under preparations for production with the purpose of export.
Mm-hmm.
And we are following closely and we have active contacts with the vaccine researchers around the globe, and our researchers as well are working on this.
It's not a big secret that some of the countries, they don't have very nice relations. So some of the countries don't have good relations. There is some misunderstanding between some of the countries. Do you think that the situation with coronavirus can play a huge role in terms of global solidarity, in like unity, like international unity? Do you think it might be a case of it might be like a reason for everyone to be united, fighting a huge enemy of everyone?
Well, I'm sincerely confident this should be the case. This is a challenge that is facing the whole humanity. No one is safe unless everybody is. So this is only time for close cooperation between everybody, between all the countries. So that's this is our principled understanding. So.
Matvey. So let's stop talking about coronavirus finally and talk maybe about the relations between Russia and Egypt. And I would like to thank you for coming to not only to Moscow and but also to other Russian regions, because you are very active in some other Russian regions, not only with Tatarstan. Yes. Would you please comment on your relations, on Egypt relations with our country, with Russia, and not only in the sense of federal government, but also in regards to Russian regions?
Well, you know how much I believe in the important role that the regions have to play in Russia and in Egypt. Their contribution are essential to develop this growing relation. Actually, I believe that there are huge potentials and untapped yet that we still have to work on, despite what we managed to achieve till now. Since the beginning of my mission, I've been trying to introduce new creative and innovative ways of cooperation, because the traditional format of economic cooperation and import-export has always been going and increasing, and the exporters and importers know their way. They might need help. We're offering them, but still what needs close attention are the creative ways of how can we maximize and deploy the advantages of both Russia and Egypt, and of course the regions. So that's why we have been focusing on issues like the Russian industrial zone, for example, like the which mainly has a very simple way of introducing the competitive advantages of both economies. the Russian products produced in Egypt would enjoy a special geographical location, which makes shipping much less, cost of labor less, and acquiring Egyptian origin as well, which gives them ability to access Arab countries, African countries with zero customs, totally custom free. So increasing the competitiveness of those products. So the ideas of creating joint ventures achieves huge benefits for both economies and allows both companies to grow, to expand, to increase their production, to go into new markets that they might not be able to do so alone, unless by combining those advantages of both sides. The same applies on IT sector, which I see very promising. The IT sector has been achieving a remarkable growth rate in Russia and in Egypt. In Egypt, the growth rate of this sector has been between 12 to 15% for the last 7 years. There are huge potential for cooperation in this field that would enable the Russian companies and the Egyptian companies to go into new markets, to expand their portfolio. The shipbuilding industry as well. And Tatarstan has a big role to play in this regard. And actually, 2 companies from Tatarstan are already have advanced the stage of contacts and negotiations with their partners, and so on. So the list is very long, including agricultural sector as well and agro-industrial sector. So we have a long list of opportunities that we need even to explore more. I personally think that Tatarstan has a very special role to play in this regard. First, because of the nature of the economy of Tatarstan, that it has a lot of advantages and qualifications that makes it very, very easy for Tatarstan to use efficiently these opportunities. And Tatarstan as well is attractive for Egyptian business. So I know we have your support and your agency and President Menikhanov, and again I would like to repeat and express my gratitude for your kind support in this regard, as always.
Thank you very much for your kind words, and especially for mentioning the crucial role of regions in terms of the country relations. And also, I would love to emphasize that the turnover between Tatarstan and Egypt in 2019 was about $24.3 million. And this is not much for today. So our companies would love to work more with Egypt, and I think that not only Tatarstan companies, but also Russian companies and companies from other Russian regions would love to participate. And dear Mr. Ambassador, we've got some questions coming to us through the internet, because this it's a live action. So one of the questions that came to us is like, can foreign companies, probably meaning Russian companies, participate in tenders in Egypt to supply the goods to sell something to the Egyptian market? How would you comment on it? Is there any opportunity for them to participate in tenders?
Of course.
Or you have to register business before?
No,
or you have to register the business in Egypt before?
They can participate in tenders, but they have to have an agent in Egypt. So they, but they can join.
To have an agent. Okay. So is there anyone? Okay. Is there anyone who can support with information about the agents? Maybe the Chamber of Commerce of Egypt, or maybe some other governmental ministries, resource bodies. Anyone?
Of course.
Who is involved into that job?
The Chamber of Commerce, and of course we can facilitate the contacts as well in the embassy with the Chamber of Commerce of Egypt.
Okay, so probably we can give a so probably we can give an advice to go to visit the website of Chamber of Commerce of Egypt, and then they can find the agent there, and that will be an opportunity to participate in tenders. Is that right?
Absolutely. And meanwhile, they can use the embassy. They can send to the embassy at any time, and we will be glad to help.
Okay, thank you very much. So, and the next question is about investment. In Tatarstan, we have a pretty strong economy based on petrochemistry and machinery building, agriculture, energy sector, a bit less, but also good and strong enough in healthcare, education, tourism. And these are the sectors where we would love to get investment too. And IT, of course. How about Egypt? Would you please would you name the sectors of economy where the investment are now needed?
Well,
and this is one of the questions that also came through online system.
The Egyptian economy is a highly diverse economy. It's one of the most diverse economies in the region. And that's a big plus of the economy. The last year, Egypt was the #1 recipient of foreign direct investments in the Middle East and Africa. So we received about $13.5 billion only last year in 2019. They went to almost all the sectors of the economy. What we focus now, we have mega projects that we try to attract investments to. Of course, we focus on the IT sector, which is doing very well and attracting a lot of investments. Petrochemical industry, we're transforming Egypt into the regional the largest regional hub of energy, and energy products, meaning electricity, LNG, refined oil, and petrochemicals. We are receiving big investments as well in the agricultural sector. We're expanding rapidly in this regard. Machine building, we enjoy the advantage of having a market of more than 100 million inhabitants and having customs-free access to markets of 1.5 billion inhabitants. So that makes Egypt in the center of a huge market. So I think we lost the connection again.
So the next question that came through online system is a little bit private, so be prepared. What cities in Russia has Mr. Ambassador already visited? And which city did he remember the most? So
that's
the
a
question
nice
is about you visiting Russian cities.
Well, I visited, this is not the first time I work in Russia. It's my second post.
Ой,
But
да, да,
so I
именно.
managed to, I visited, of course, so I visited, of course, a lot of medium-sized cities, but what I can mention now are of course Kazan, St. Petersburg, Yekaterinburg, Nizhny Novgorod, Volgograd, Makhachkala, the Grozny, what else? So it's a long list actually. I visited at least 15 cities, 15 regions of Russia.
You know that even me living in this country, I think I visited less than you did. Because I've never been to Makhachkala and I've never been to Grozny myself. So probably you know Russia a little bit more than I do in terms of practical experience.
But there's
But it's
always in
good.
every visit I
Um,
pay, there's something new to see. During my next visit to Kazan, which I'm looking forward to be as soon as possible, uh, I have new places on the list that I would like to visit as well. So
Yeah, but Russia is the biggest country in the world by territory, so probably it's a very good opportunity for you living here in our country to visit as many cities as you can, because each city has a history, has its local traditions, local cuisine, local culture, and very kind people. So it's a very good chance for you to visit many Russian cities as far as you are here. So you just mentioned Kazan. You visited Kazan several times, and I would like to give you a special thank for visiting our Russia and Islamic World Kazan Summit, which is an international economic summit that we organize on an annual basis, and it's very important for Tatarstan and for our president and for our government that the Egyptian companies they come to visit Kazan summit and they sign new agreements and new contracts and not only about investment projects but about many other interesting issues like in educational, cultural, tourism sectors. Although the summit is called economic, it's all about the relations and cooperation in different sectors. So last year we happened to meaning this year we happened to cancel the summit because of the situation, but next year I hope that everything will be fine and we will enjoy again welcoming the international society, because last year we had about 72 countries visited summit. More than 5,000 people came from 72 countries, and by the way, about half of Russian regions, they were also our guests, and it's very good thing. I would also like to remind you that 2 years ago, that was 2018, we organized together a round table that was the title of it was Russian and Egypt International Cooperation and Perspective in Technological Cooperation and Innovation Implementation, and that was the organized by Russian and Egypt Business Council under the Chamber of Commerce of Russia. And it was a very good experience for us. And I would love also maybe to do something similar next year for the next summit, to plan some special session devoted to Egypt. And maybe we now have some time to discuss what sectors you would love to bear attention to. Like you mentioned agriculture a lot, and I know that agriculture is a big part of Egyptian economy. In Tatarstan, we also have a very good, we have very good ranking in terms of agriculture development in Russia, and we export lots of agricultural products. Maybe it might be a session on agricultural cooperation, trading and investment projects, and maybe some joint ventures creation, something like that. So maybe we can work on it if you don't mind, if it is okay for you. What do you think?
Well, of course, I'm very glad to hear the idea, and I always appreciate your creative and innovative approaches. So I'm very much fully in line with your idea, and well, of course, I focused on the agriculture because it is an important sector. I'm not sure of the exact contribution, but it's around 16% of the GDP in Egypt. But there are other promising fields as well. So it's so we can work on the subject. But I very much welcome the idea. And I remember how successful the session in 2018 was. I was one of the speakers in the session, which was the seats were full, and people were even standing. Didn't find enough places that we did not expect this much of turnout to be there. And I would like to give the audiences as well an idea about how we have been working together, Egypt and Tatarstan, on developing the cooperation during the last 2-3 years. Actually, we have adopted a more comprehensive approach. So, of course, economic and commercial fields are very important, but we paid close attention as well to the cultural, educational, humanitarian aspects. So we already organized Days of Culture in Egypt in Kazan. We expect next year to have the Days of Culture of Tatarstan in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And we have significant number of Egyptian students studying in Tatarstan, and a significant number of students from Tatarstan as well studying in Egypt. So it's quite an active relations that I believe is due to the long historical contacts as well. When and that's why I also have to say that all the endeavors to enhance the cooperation and relations between Egypt and Tatarstan received a very strong support from President Menikhanov, from the officials of the Republic of Tatarstan, and of course from yourself as well. That's I think I'm lucky to have too many friends in Tatarstan and this kind of great support. And I'm sure we will keep working together even to enhance it more. I intend to pay a visit to Kazan as soon as possible once this situation is over. So once you're ready, I will be glad to be there and with new ideas, and I'm looking forward for your support as well to make them real.
Well, welcome anytime, Mr. Ambassador. It will be our great pleasure to welcome you again, and not only in terms of Kazan Summit, but any day of the year is yours. It will be our pleasure to do that. But for the last 15 minutes together, within this small conversation, we had a chance to discuss the central bank fiscal policies, central bank measures, postponing taxation, cancellation, and like new ways of work, and 35% of growth of IT companies in Egypt, and entertainment platforms, and investment tendencies, and the role of Russian regions in relations of the countries, and joint ventures and turnover, and your visit to different Russian cities, and many other things about the student exchange that you mentioned, and cultural days. So that was a very intensive talk, I would say. So I would like to thank you, and also all of your team that works with us very closely, Mr. Ambassador. And it's a great pleasure each time to talk to you personally, and to the members of your team who are very efficient in our country. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And Tatarstan is online for now for you. And welcome to Kazan anytime.
Thank you so much.
Talking to you.
Thank you so much, dear Miss Talia, and that was a great pleasure and honor to be in contact with you again, and to have this wonderful, fruitful discussions. And as always, since our first meeting, I know I have a strong partner and a strong friend, and a very active, very dynamic, that always contributed a lot and will contribute a lot to the relations, to the Republic of Tatarstan and to Russia.
Thank you very much.
Please convey my best regards to His Excellency President Minikhanov, to the Prime Minister, to the ministers, and all my dear friends. I think I'm one of the most frequently visiting ambassadors to Kazan.
Yes, thank you for that, and it will be my pleasure to send them your regards and wishes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.